Hello, today we are going to study about inheritance. Our scope of lectures are introduction, syntax of inheritance, inheritance access specifier, in which we will study about public inheritance, protected inheritance, private inheritance. Then coming to the types of inheritance, single, in which we will study about single inheritance, multiple inheritance and multi-level inheritance. So what is actually inheritance? It is as you already know about what is inheritance, just give let an example of what is inherit definition. The same word what is inherit stand for. Then inherit, if you write the inherit, meaning of inherit, it is nothing but derive quality and characteristics, derive quality and characteristics from parent or ancestors. Simple example, derive quality and characteristics from parent or ancestor. You think that I am here to study about the computer science, but this inherited is a general term of biology, right? Parents are ancestor. So in terms of biology, you can say that derive quality and characteristics from parent and ancestor. Just from here we can relate through the in the terms of computer science language as well. So like you use like if you say that her child is inherited from the parents, right? So her beauty, her smartness inherited from their parents. Like this inheritance in if you learn in computer science in CS or in object oriented programming language, you can say in terms of computer science language, you see that in object oriented programming it is described as a process of creating new class from the existing class. It is a process in object oriented programming, you can say in object oriented programming language, or in a programming language you can say it is described as the process of creating new classes from the existing class. Means the this is suppose a class A, class C, let's say class C, and it is inherited by class A and let's see class B. So it is inherited with class A and B, so it finally makes a new class, and these two are already existing class. So defining class inheritance is just look in a form of in a programming language you can say the derive of process of creating a new classes from the existing classes. Like you can supposed to be a two classes or one single for a type of single inheritance, when a single class can make a new class, right? So here example of multiple inheritance that is example of this, that class A and B is combining get a class C that will produce a new class, and it will show the class A and B combined to make a class C that become a new class. So here the definition of process of creating a new class from the existing class A classes. So here the definition of inheritance. New class A, inherit some of their properties and behavior, and you can say behavior of the property and behavior of the existing class, that is his parent class, or you can say parent class. Here previously see example of class C. Here it is inherited by two of the existing class A and class B. So inherited by two of the classes. C class inherited, this is a new class and this is existing at 2 existing class. So here the part of introduction that we see in inheritance, it is a derived quality and property of behavior of the existing class or a parent class, you can say. So here we see with a common block diagram of this. If I say the block diagram of inheritance, then you can see that in class C inherited from class A and class B both combined of existing. These two classes are already existed in the program, but in a new class is created, so this gist of two existing classes. So now the introduction part is over. Now coming to the syntax. What are the basic syntax we use in programming language for inheritance? So for basic syntax for inheritance, basic syntax, you can say you can use a class. Here we talking about the class. So class derived class, and here we define the access specifier, right? Access specifier, we study about access. What is access specifier? Just see access, just write access specifier. Use the access specifier, then we use the base class. What is the name of base class? So this is the common or basic syntax of inheritance, right? Here we define a class, here a derived class. What the class representing? Then access specifier. We will study about what is access specifier and what type of access specifier is used, and then the name of the base class. So this is the basic syntax of inheritance, in which we derived used in a programming language to define inheritance, right? So this is the basic syntax. Now coming to the access specifier. What is access specifier we used? Generally there are three types of access specifier. So now let us study about what is access specifier. There are three types of access specifier. Access specifier. What are they? They are private, public, and third one is protected. So basically three type of access specifier we used inside in inheritance: private, public, and protected. So here we say that the default we can say the default access specifier. If no access specifier is mentioned in inheritance, then the default specifier that by compiler take the default access specifier, that is specifier is private. Private is taken as a default access specifier. So access or you can say access specifier affects accessibility of data member of base class from derived class. It determines the accessibility of data member of base class from outside derived class. So in access specifier we see three type of access specifier: private, public, and protected. These are used in inheritance. If we see about the if you recall, we have already studied about the basic syntax of inheritance, that here in the access specifier class derived class, and here define access specifier as public, or you can say private or base class. What is the base class? Whatever name of the base class, that is depend upon it is put on the situations. But depending upon the which state you want to use in access specifier, that is public, private, and protected. These three are available. So in public you can write public base class. What is the base class? That is depending upon the situation, and also in the protected mode. If you want to be at protected mode, then protected base class. So here the common syntax, derived class, then access specifier, base class. This is a common syntax for the inheritance. So here we use for public, private and protected. So access specifier are three types. The default, if you not input any type of access specifier, by default the compiler takes as a private access specifier. This access specifier affects accessibility of data members of base class from derived class. It determines the accessibility of data members of base class from outside the derived class. So here in access specifier we learn about three type of access specifier. We know we studied about which one is the by default by the compiler taken as, that is a private access specifier. And access specifier will affect the accessibility of data member of base class from derived class. It determines the accessibility. It also determines this is second point, this is first point, that first the access specifier affects accessibility of data members of base class from derived class. You can say from this is, suppose this is class C, this is class A and this is class B. This class C is derived class and class E are the base class, which is the created class. So according to the statement of access specifier, you see access specifier affect accessibility of data members. Whatever the data present inside the derived class can be accessibility or affect the data members of base class from the derived class. Second point, it determines the accessibility of data members. It determines the accessibility of data members of basic class from outside the derived class. You can also change in the public, private and protected mode when accessibility of data member of base class from outside the derived class. So through common block diagram you can understand from how it affects the accessibility of data members from base class to derived class, from derived class to base class. So they are coming about the inheritance access specifier. We studied about three type of access specifier over here: public, private and protected. So now coming to that different types of what are the definition, what are the common syntax of all these public, private and protected. So they here come about what is the access specifier, how it is used inside in the inheritance. Now coming to one by one, what is private, what is public, what is the protected, and how the basic syntax of these. So first we studied about the public. So the public, for public inheritance, for the public, here we study about the public inheritance. This type of inheritance used mostly. First, this type of inheritance are used mostly. Public inheritance is utilized public in public mode. You can use a lot of data inside and access the data members through the through public inheritance class. So through public class you can access a lot of data from outside the class, also from the derived class as well. So here is in the protected member of base class, in the protected member of base class become protected member of the derived class and public public becomes public and the public become public. If you see the basic syntax of public inheritance, then you can define as a class, derived class, then public base class. So this is the common syntax for public inheritance, that this type of inheritance is used mostly, right? In programming, it is used mostly in the for the public mode. Most of the used in a lot of to access the lot of data members from this mode. So in the protected member of base class become protected member of the derived class, and the public member become public member of derived class. So the protected member of base class, what is the protected? The mode is protected, data member accessibility is protected, not be shared with all the classes, with the defined with the base classes as well. The protected member of the base class become protected member of the derived class. The derived class also, if it inheritance, let's example C, class A inherited class B, it cannot be if the some of the data available here and some of the data available here cannot be shared, or you can say cannot be shared, or you cannot be access the data members outside the class. You can't access the data or the data members in protected mode outside the class. So cannot. So in case of in the case of public as well, you cannot access the public and the public of base class, public member of the base class become the public member of derived class. So here the public inheritance, we studied about public inheritance. It is used mostly in the C program and the programming languages in C++ and many other programming languages. In the protected member, the base class derived from the becomes the protected member of the derived class, and the public class become the public member of the derived class. Public member of derived class. So here the public inheritance. If you see the accessibility table, then how can we can access in the public, private, and public, private, and protected mode? Then here the table for the public inheritance, so that you can easily access or you can easily memorize how it is accessible in public or private or protected mode or not. So here the table. Accessibility of base class. Here we study public. It is accessibility in base class is public, private, is protected, or here private. So if accessibility from base class, if the accessibility from base class, then yes, you can accessibility for the base class from derived class. Also from base class to public to the base class. From base class in the public mode, you can access it. In protected, yes, you can access in public mode, public protected mode as well, or in private, yes, you can access from the base class. You can access in all the three modes, like public, protected, and private. Then from object of the base class. In this case, in public, yes, from object you can access through in public mode, but in protected and private mode you cannot access this. So another that from derived class. In case of derived class, as public, because it is public, so you can directly access from the public class. So inside public class you can share the data member, and accessibility of data members are allowed to be in access of data member inside the classes. So derived class, as we already know, the access specifier is used to from base class to derived class. So yes, in public mode it is possible. From for derived class, yes, as class is protected. If the class is protected, then yes, it is possible. If class is public, then it can't be possible. If is case of private mode, yes, it is possible, as in case of as class is private. To see here from the derived class, if the class is same as its base class, then it is accessible. Then otherwise it cannot be accessible, right? From, or you can say derived class of derived class. Derived class of derived class. Suppose here class C, class B, and this is the base class, that is class A. This is base class, this is another derived class, and this is another derived class. So derived class of derived class, this can be accessible through this base class. Say as if public, then yes, as public you can access it through the base class. Yes, in case of protected, yes, accessible classes protected, but in case of private, you cannot access the data members or data if from derived class to of derived class. You cannot, in private mode you cannot share the data because it is already distributed. The data members can access specified one derived class. It cannot be accessed more than one derived class. So in case of one derived class, you can see it is accessible through private mode, but for derived class or derived class can internet through it, so it cannot be possible to access data members in private mode. So here the table for accessibility of class in public, private and protected mode, that from base class, yes, you can access the base class through in public mode, in private mode and protected mode. From object of base class, from object of the, what is the object of the we created in the base class, yes, you can access in the public mode, but cannot access in public and private and protected mode. From derived class, yes, we can see from derived class in public member, you can lot of if your chain of derived class, that you can possible if class is public. Yes, if class is protected, then it is accessible in data members in protected mode as well. As in case of private member, it can also access the data members if the derived class, if one of the derived class is there inside the mode, inside that mode. So yes, it is possible. From derived class of derived class, here you see the example of 3 base class and 2 derived class from this base class. So from derived class of derived class, yes, it is possible if public. In protected mode, yes, it is possible, also possible in the case of protected, but it will not be possible in the case of private mode. So this is the accessibility of base class and the table how to can access in a public inheritance.